Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song, there's an even greater story. I like to say what's up to everybody listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Geo7, and all the great streaming platforms streaming Deeper Than Music Radio. Today, we have a very special guest, multi-instrumentalist from Queens, Orphan Prodigy here on Deeper Than Music Radio. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Sorry about that, man.
No worries.
First question. So, multi-instrumentalist, and I understand that you were previously you were in bands, and then you discovered the beautiful life of digital audio workstations.
Yes.
The name Orphan Prodigy. What's the story behind the name?
Yeah. So I've only been in one other band, my first band, and that lasted for almost 2 decades, and
Wow.
The first name of that band was The Rejects, and I had, for me that was a really powerful name because I grew up adopted. I had gay parents, so I was, off the bat I was very different from my peers, and so fast forward to 2025 with Orphan Prodigy, I wanted to kind of have a name that sort of kept that aspect of feeling like a reject. We actually had to change the name, and then we continued on our career because we were going to get sued by a bunch of other bands. But anyway, so with Orphan Prodigy, we, I wanted to kind of maintain that level of feeling like an outsider, but also in a positive way. So I feel like, Orphan definitely has like a negative connotation sometimes to it, being alone, being singular, being like a singularity or an anomaly maybe. And then Prodigy kind of makes it feel like this sort of, I guess, like this more positive, kind of spins it in a positive light. And so, yeah, I related to that.
Awesome. And so before you said you were in a band for a while, quite a long time. Question, who are artists that inspire you?
My top 7 is The Offspring, Nirvana, Weezer, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine, Primus, and Metallica. So that's my top 7.
Wow. So Metallica is pretty early, but a lot of them are like 90s.
Yeah.
Nirvana, man. Nirvana. I can remember when I first heard Smells Like Teen Spirit. Matter of fact, they were the reason why I was so fascinated with Seattle. Like, I gotta see Seattle. Man, those are definitely some bands, some legacy bands. Did you know from a young age that you wanted to be a musician and be in the entertainment field?
Yeah, so I was 8 years old, and my parents had taken me. I have some German cousins on one of my father's sides, and so I went to Germany. And my older cousin, she played this song at the time. It was the Offspring song, which subsequently became my favorite band. But they had a single called "Why Don't You Get a Job?" and the first line opens just like straight up. It's like, "My friend's got a girlfriend and he hates that, bitch."
Yeah.
And that blew my mind, man. So it was at that moment that I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I wanted to shock people. I wanted to make music. I wanted to have a guitar, and that was it. That was the moment, man.
So being a multi-instrumentalist, was it the guitar first that you started learning how to hone your musician skills?
Yeah, my dad got me a guitar a year later for Christmas, and some cheap. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. It's like this cheap like a catalog guitar, not like a brand name or anything. And yeah, so I learned on that. Took me about a year and a half to actually sing. Like, I had a microphone and everything, but like for some reason, I was terrified to sing. But then once I started, my dad just yelled at me one day. He's like, "You're playing guitar, you're writing these songs, but I'm not hearing you sing. Like, what am I investing in here?" So, something like that. And he just like forced me to sing, and I sang, and that was the beginning of the end. So.
Wow. So he was like, "Look, I got you this. I hear you doing stuff." He pushed you to be a singer as well as a musician and a songwriter.
Yeah, he wanted to see it happen.
So the band that you were in, were you the lead singer, guitarist, or?
Yeah. So I was the lead singer and guitar player, and I did all the songwriting. We were a 3-piece, so it was a drummer and a bass player. And that ended around 2019. We did a couple of reunion shows after that, post-pandemic, but really, it was clear that that wasn't going to go much further. I think everybody had kind of, moved past the idea of making albums and touring, because we had been touring for like six days a week for like years and years and years. So, it was a struggle, really. And then I had, of course, I don't know, it's well documented at this point, but I had a agoraphobic episode, which prevented me from leaving my house for 6 months. So that kind of contributed to it as well.
Wow.
And that during that time, that's when I really developed Orphan Prodigy. I started live streaming and writing those songs for this record.
So was that contributed due to COVID being agoraphobic? Because 2019 is like right before, like I know it was around the time when.
It's interesting because, like, for me, I had just met my now wife. I had just met my then girlfriend. So for me, I was kind of like just crashing at her place during COVID, and I was actually, after I got past the agoraphobia and stuff, I met her, and I was attending audio engineering school because I was like kind of rethinking my position in the industry. And so I met her and came back to New York from Arizona, where the school was, and we were just hanging out, playing Call of Duty like all day, just like ordering nachos and stuff, like, and so like that's kind of how that happened, and from there I just kind of started writing again.
So what is the difference between being in a band and now pretty much doing your own thing and pretty much creating, and it's all coming from you?
Well, I think the main difference is that in Orphan Prodigy versus being in a band, I think in Orphan Prodigy, it's not a democracy. Like the songs are, all mine. I'm doing all of the writing, all of the recording, all of the engineering, and my wife, who's also in the band now, she helps me kind of like, when we start to do like the videos and stuff, she's like there for the editing process and stuff. I have a drummer and a bass player who came on board 2 years ago to start playing live shows. But as far as the creative side of things, it's really just like, whereas my previous band was probably like 90% me, this is 120% me.
Okay. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because me and my wife, we were listening to the music and just jamming out. And I gotta say, man, I love the album title, Medication for a Modern World. Like, how did you come up with that, man? That was very intriguing.
So I was actually before, like a long time ago, before, like, the reason I initially I went to college. I attended SUNY Purchase in New York. And for studio composition, songwriting, and we got signed, and so I had to kind of take a hiatus from school, and I never really went back until I got my degree in audio engineering recently. But so I was just kind of sitting in my dorm room one day, doing the thing, hanging out with just by myself, and not going to class, and I don't know how PG we are here, or
Oh yeah, you're fine, man. You can.
Yeah, so I was smoking a lot of weed. I was smoking a ton of weed, and just like, I don't smoke anymore, but like, I was really, really involved in, like, I really found my creative space during those years. This is back in like 2007. So that title goes all the way back to 2007. It's crazy because I never really thought that these kind of like abstract, kind of surrealist songwriting ideas would ever really make any records as far as my career went. This was always going to be like the next album for my previous band. It just never kind of came to fruition. And so yeah, that's where the title came from. A dorm room, smoking a lot of weed.
Smoking, hey, with the inspiration, right?
I can't smoke any weed anymore. I get too paranoid. So
Yeah.
I wish I could, man. I've tried. It's just not happening anymore.
So you go from a band, and then, like, what made you decide, like, hey, I'm gonna go to school from engineering, and then how did that enhance your skill set?
Well, so I decided, after the agoraphobia thing, it was clear that I wasn't going to be able to tour at the same level that I was, because dealing with huge crowds and all the traveling and stuff, it really just kind of caught up with me, I think. And so I think it was just about, like, like, how do I keep doing this? How do I keep functioning in music in this, the only thing that I really want to or care to do. How do I keep doing that without performing on stage and making albums and all that stuff? And so obviously the logical thing was to take a back seat and go behind the scenes and become a producer essentially. And so it wasn't, I was attending the school for 2 weeks, and then they showed me Logic Pro and Pro Tools and all that stuff. And I was immediately, especially with Logic, and that's how I made the record. But I was just hooked because I've always written my songs digitally, just me and a laptop, MIDI programming. And so it was a natural transition to go from what I was doing in MIDI to Logic. I would just drag and drop the files and it's like pick the sounds and have a blast. It's like 48 hours later and there's 8 songs. So that's kind of how it happened.
And I don't know about you, MIDI in itself back in the day was a headache.
Well, for me it wasn't. I just that was how I learned how to songwrite. It was like a trial version of a MIDI software, very very basic. And so you were limited to 12 bars of music. And so I learned how to songwrite because you were forced to use repeats. And then you learn there's repetition. So that must be a chorus. That must be a verse. And I can make a bridge. And so I was kind of self-taught that way. And you can kind of hear that when you listen to the record. There's kind of I don't always follow 4 bars of this, 4 bars of that. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7. It's it makes it interesting. It's how I feel.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just what they say, ear candy, and you want to keep adding. And then I feel like sometimes it could be just cookie cutter, but it's good to add elements and different things here and there, and just add that element of surprise.
Yeah,
man. Exactly. So you've seen it, you talk about Logic, and it's crazy how I like Pro Tools, but I know Logic. I've seen Logic. And it's so crazy how from 20 years, how it's just evolved. Like you said, drag and drop. And I'm sure you could appreciate this. I see people how you can map out, drum programming. It's no, I'm old school MPC. And it's just crazy. So how's your your creative process? Could you walk that through? It's how do you get inspired? Does it come to you? How do you start? Does it start off with the words, or does it you just make a melody? And
so when I was 16, I was in a studio. Metallica's manager had paid for us to do a reel-to-reel recording, and we weren't very good at that point, and we were just kind of getting started still. But anyway, so we made this demo, and I remember the second day I was there was a copy of Spin magazine on the engineer's desk, and so I picked it up because it had one of my heroes, the lead singer of Weezer.
Okay.
And so I opened it up and I read the article, and he was talking about how he writes 3 songs a day. And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to be any good at this, if I'm going to do anything with this, I have to write 3 songs a day to be as good as my hero. And so from that day forth, I was writing 3 songs a day. So to this day, I still follow that discipline.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't really, when people talk about, and I might sound like an asshole for saying this, but when people talk about writer's block, I can't relate to that. I don't have that. I've never run into it. I haven't ever experienced it. For me, a blank canvas, MIDI, is that's all I need. A blank page. If I start to read a book, I can't read a book. I'm embarrassed to say I can write pretty well, but as far as reading, I get bored and I have to write my own stuff. I can't really get into. Yeah, I can hear myself when I sound like an idiot for saying that.
But to me, it sounds like you're constantly there's ideas and stuff.
Yeah, I just can't settle. I can't settle my mind down long enough to concentrate on somebody else's material, unless it's music or it's a video game or something really truly immersive.
Yeah.
So.
No, I could appreciate that. Writer's block. It is in itself is nightmare. Man, the creative juices. I likened it to what was Gwen Stefani when she first did her solo album, the song
Bananas, B-A-N-A.
The one where she's she calls herself a stupid hoe. It's just talking about what you waiting for? Hey, write this, write this song. You got the $1 million contract.
See, is that what that's about? Because I know that song. I never fucking paid attention to the lyrics.
It's about writer's block because she's you got your $1 million contract and they're waiting for your hot track, and there's one part don't be stupid. Hell, like, make this song. What are you waiting for?
That's so funny. All these
Yeah,
years, I didn't know what that song was about.
and the only reason why I know it is because I actually watched the video, and she's in the studio like, man, here I am with my solo career, and man, I got to do this. I got the $1 million. We got to make it happen. But you brought up Weezer, and man, I love Weezer. I recently, about years, I want to say like 5 years ago, I didn't know they redid like Toto's Africa,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was just like, wow.
That was a trip. And then Toto redid Hash Pipe, which was really cool to hear.
Wow.
So yeah, you should check that out. It's pretty cool, pretty wild.
So what inspires you to create? Like, what is it? I feel like it's fluid every.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's life. I mean, I think some of the best stuff, obviously the best stuff I write is probably when I'm going through a really hard time or something. But yeah, I think I'm always going through a hard time. So it's like, I mean, just going into Walmart for me is a pain in the ass. And like, I can have a panic attack and it's really bad. Like the fluorescent lighting,
Yeah.
Riding the train is an issue, just being surrounded by people is like an issue for me. So.
And you are in New York City. Like, New York City is massive.
I actually recently moved out of the city.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm actually living in Connecticut now, which is like, very suburban for me. But there's like it's really beautiful. It's a really nice town. There's like the seashore and stuff, which I love. But yeah, we're just we're surrounded by forests. It's really like the complete opposite. So very nice.
There, okay, yeah, because I remember.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So Carrie, she's from the Midwest, and I told her, I was like, New York City is just endless city. Like, it's like I can't describe it. And we're like in Times Square, and I'm like, this is what it is. And she's from the Midwest, like, oh my God. I'm like, yes, it is massive.
See, so somebody from the Midwest, it must be like, like very, like, if you don't live in New York, like, it's really cool to see. But, like, I imagine. But, like, when I was watching, because my wife and I, we were watching the New Year's Eve ball drop, and, and just looking at Times Square, I'm like, we were both just looking at each other like, how do people do that? Like, how do people stand next to each other and just like, just like, and like for like 24 hours, because they get there like really early to be in the camera's view and stuff. It's just crazy, man.
That's dedication. I have a sidebar story. So in my, besides being a musician, I work in the aviation industry, and I was doing this work with JetBlue in their offices, like in Queens. It's not too far. So for 2 weeks,
right by where I used to live,
2 weeks I had to go to that building. So real estate is prime in New York. Like, it was the Hilton, I want to say the Hilton Inn, and like my hotel room was small, but for 2 weeks I would get out of my hotel room and walk. And at the time I was living in North Fort Worth in a new build. So I was there for 2 weeks. I get back to North Fort Worth where it's quiet, and I couldn't go to sleep because I was used to all that city noise.
Yep.
It's
bro, to this day I sleep with a fan on because I need the noise.
Yeah.
I need that white noise, just like something happening. Like if it's dead still, I'm gonna I can't fall asleep, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is so crazy. I had a question about the album, Medication for a Modern World. So for people that haven't heard your music, what can you first tell us about the band, the sound, and just the album?
So I think the sound is pretty cinematic. I think that it's very raw, but it's also, and it's interesting because, I'm a pretty raw person in, I don't know if you can tell this, but like I pretty much wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm an open book. I don't really have any like qualms about telling the truth all the time. And I think that's, to a fault maybe. But so I think there's a lot of rawness, but there's also a lot of control at the same time. Because the instruments are so on grid, musically. There's a lot of room for me to kind of be not on the grid with the vocals and the lyrics and stuff. And they're very kind of abstract. And then you put those two elements together and you get something that's pretty cinematic, I think, and also raw and emotional at the same time. So it's pretty. It's the best album I think I've ever made. So without a doubt, for sure.
No, because you can tell like the engineering, the music, the songwriting, and even like you said, the soundscape is very cinematic. Because I could hear atmospherics, you could hear rock, you can hear electronic. So it's. I mean, I'm trying to think. For some reason, I don't know why Trent Reznor keeps coming up in my mind, but
Yeah, yeah, I've been getting
yeah,
that.
yeah. So for
Well, because he
me,
does it
okay,
all himself too. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, okay, and then with the cinematic elements, because now
yeah,
what he composes like very. I like his dark synth
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Man,
I'll take it because being compared to Trent Reznor is like that's amazing.
yeah, yeah, he's definitely one of those on the top list. So we talked about so now you go from performing and now like more when COVID happened, after COVID, I couldn't create because it's like I gotta be out. I've been in
Right,
like
right.
and we have to be in a quiet space. Now I'm in a space where I could appreciate that. Are there times where you miss being out and about? Do you miss performing?
So we actually the way that we've made this a full time job and career,
Mm-hmm.
because I was struggling for 15 years in my last band, trying to make
Mm-hmm.
ends meet because we were on an indie deal. We had this thing with Sony; it fell through.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, it's crazy because I know a lot of people struggled through the pandemic, but for me it was like this. Creatively speaking, it was like kind of an awakening and a blessing in disguise because I found out what live streaming was. I figured out how to live stream and how to
Yeah.
start writing digitally and be creative. We started to then it's over the years, it just kept building and growing and growing. You can't see it right now, but this is where we perform. We have like 4 cameras facing that way. We have lights and everything, but essentially what we do is we shoot all the performances 5 to 6 shows a day down here, and people pay for them through our website. And we also do like right now we're technically on tour. We do kind of like half in person and half virtual. So yeah, I mean I think it's really just about, I don't know, I mean like I said, I think the pandemic was kind of a blessing in disguise for me
Yeah, because
creatively.
you could see how we transitioned, and I think now you got me thinking like, wow, I want to see how with the pandemic how technology changed. Because now the shift was like, okay, now we can't, you can't be around people, but digitally, that's it. Virtual, that's it. And you answered my question about the on air and the
Yeah, yeah,
background. I was
yeah.
like, is that a studio
No, that's
or
a real thing. Yeah, that's a real. That's
yeah?
a. Anytime we have that sign on, people, it's connected wirelessly. There's a bunch of them around the house. So like when that one's turned on, they all go on, so everybody knows not to come downstairs. So it's all synced up.
Gotcha. Man, what would be your dream collaborators in the future? Like, who would you like to collaborate with?
Oh man. So I've only ever done one true collaboration, and we actually just dropped the single we were in Brooklyn last Friday night, and we did a show, and it was live streamed, and it was great. But we dropped the single, a deep bass. I think it's the 3rd track on the record, and
Okay.
yeah, that's the we I collaborated with my rapper best friend Jeff Wise from Queens. He like lived across the street from me. One day he was like, he had a rap, and I had like this idea that I was working on, and we just kind of came together, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's a Linkin Park thing." Like, yeah, okay, sure, all
Okay.
right. Rap rock, Linkin Park. It must be Linkin Park. But yeah, so that's as far as to answer your question. A dream collaboration, man. I think it would have to be something just like totally wild, like something
Yeah.
like in like something like that, something like in the top 40 that I'm like totally unexpecting.
Yeah.
Not expecting, rather, like I don't know, Sabrina Carpenter. No, you know what I'd love to do is because I don't really listen to rock when I'm at home. I listen to like really lo-fi, chill, kind of like deep house stuff.
Yeah. I
But
like lo-fi beats. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
yeah, man. But there's this band that you should check out. They're called Men I Trust, and they're doing like a very similar. They're kind of running a similar model that I run, but they're out. They're way more on the road, but they're
Hmm.
so independent, and their sound is just so mellow and chill. It's kind of like just a. It's got that same deep house kind of vibe to it, but it's not deep house. It's like more alternative. You should check it out, man. They
Oh,
have a
I'm
single
definitely
called. I'm plugging another band in my own interview, but "Show Me How" by Men I Trust, man. And Days Go
man. I
By,
trust.
Men I Trust.
Okay.
Yeah, just an incredible band. If I had a collaboration opportunity with them, they're just amazing songwriters, amazing, just like ethereal kind of engineers, just great at what they do. So yeah,
And you brought up something that stood out in my mind. So 20 years ago, we see now with technology, now with distribution, we see like the middleman is kind of been, etched out. And obviously you built your own niche now. Like I like to say through chaos came now
yeah.
unfortunately something bad happened. Now you found the niche. And you mentioned Sony, and then you mentioned like being a starving artist. We see now though with technology, I tell people now it's like, look, back in the day I had to go to the library and read this business of music, but everything is right here in the palm of your hand. You can figure it out digitally. Do you think that the Sony situation was that like a blessing in disguise? Because it seems like you're doing your own movement and you're successful.
Absolutely. There were so many problems with that deal. It was it was a development deal, and we were going to be 360. I don't, so for people that don't know in the industry, we were going to be 360, which means that basically you're getting screwed in every which way. They're taking a piece of your merch, your touring, your production, making an album, all that stuff. So that you're basically losing money on every front. And then the studio that wanted to produce us was also going to take a cut of everything. So we were going to be 360 twice. Wow. And I was like, hell no. I was 23 years old, and I was like, hell no. So yeah, I mean, like you said, now we've come to a place where you don't need the middleman. And if you're savvy, you're not even savvy enough. And there are plenty of people that, make a living on YouTube and stuff and aren't very great at, making great videos, but
yeah,
they're just loud and obnoxious and people like it. But like, if you're driven enough, you'll figure it out. I mean, it's really just a microphone, a camera, and a key light, right?
Oh yeah. And like you said, with like digital audio workstations.
Yeah.
Like I am surprised because you remember 20 years ago, even in the 90s. Oh man, you gotta have a big studio. You gotta go to that studio. You gotta.
Yeah.
But
you
then
need
some
to record
people,
an SSL, whatever.
Yeah. And now somebody's like, yeah, I had my little Akai little USB keyboard and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The results speak for themselves. You don't need like this massive budget anymore. And that's the thing is like you can, it's like I have like three different, like if you did a pie chart, like I have three different things. Like 1/3 is the performing stuff, touring virtually, in person, the touring stuff, and making and selling the records, obviously. And the second third is talking about mental health awareness and sharing my adoption story. That's the second third of my Orphan Prodigy umbrella. And the third part is gaming and streaming that. So we stream Call of Duty and Battlefield. Hell yeah. Xbox.
That's my I do a podcast for I'm gonna have you on it. 40-something gamers.
You're gonna have to have me on it. I will. Yeah.
40-something gamers like Gen X.
Let's go. Let's go, bro.
But I didn't mean to interrupt. But you said that I was.
No, you're good. No, see that's why I like. I don't. When I do interviews, like they're like, so what do you want to talk about? I'm like, dude, I don't want to go in with anything. I want it to be a natural conversation. I'm on here just to plug myself. So. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. So I understand the jumping, like let's jump and talk about something interesting. It's like yeah.
So. But you brought it like you have to be versatile, and then you have to like give people the immersive your experience, and you're allowing to give people your experience via this new technology. Because right now, like I didn't realize this. We were talking about me and a couple friends were talking about music, and being a musical artist, and then like AI came up, and it's like, oh, AI is going to take our job. But then when I was reading and doing research, it's like AI is not emotional. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't have a story. So it's saying like for musicians, be your true authentic self and share your experience. And that's what you're doing. Like your whole thing is being immersive in your whole experience. And it makes sense too. When you're doing your own thing and you're creating, it's you're like you said before, it was 90% in the band, now it's 120. It's all you and it's all your experience. And I definitely appreciate that. And you could tell too in the album, I'm like, he's letting it all out. And I could appreciate that.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. I mean, there's so much like, as much as AI is like, great and really cool and stuff, you brought up a really good point, and that's that people are kind of like also like wholeheartedly against it at some level. But I don't think that AI is inherently bad. I think that it's like you said, it's only a mirror. It's
Yep.
only going to go as far as the emotions that you put forth.
Yes.
And so if like when people say AI is going to take my job, it's like, well, at least from a creative standpoint, that's not the case. Like, I was listening to a song that was fully AI generated, a version of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it was like in this disco. I should send it to you. And it sounds
Okay.
great. It sounds
Yeah.
fucking amazing. And I'm totally with it. It's like 7 minutes long. It's great. But
Yeah.
like, it's a novelty. Like, you're not going to get originality from an AI.
Yes.
You're not going to get heart and emotion and rawness and depth. You're going to get something novelty like that.
Yeah.
Like a disco version of Smells Like Teen Spirit from the 80s, like, or 70s,
Yeah. That's
So
they have a 1950s version of Rough Riders Anthem.
yeah,
Stop Jobs.
I've heard a
Oh,
version of
like-
that. Yeah.
And then now I see like AI videos of Tupac and Kobe Bryant hanging out.
Yeah.
Tupac doing trick or treating. And like you said, you can use it as a tool, and it doesn't emote. It doesn't connect. Like great artists, they connect. We brought up Nirvana, like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
It's shameless promotion.
All right, shameless promotion time. Yeah, you can find us on orphanprodigy.com. That's kind of the hub. You can find all the socials there. But we are on YouTube. No, not really. I don't think we're really on TikTok. But we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and Discord. So if you want to check out our new single, Deep Bass, off the album Medication from Our World, you can find that on our YouTube channel at Orphan Prodigy. That's pretty much the thing.
Man, and then this one. What does music mean to you?
Everything. It's breathing. Yeah, it's like air for me. It's oxygen.
Yes, we use
Let's
like
go.
Gen
I'm
X
I'm
and
approaching 40.
yeah. And yeah, that's all we do. Talk retro pop culture. So this. So
Check it out.
ladies and go
Sorry,
ahead.
before we sign off, I got to show you this. I got it's my.
No, I see it. I see that. That is like that's OG. Yeah.
No, it's like it says Orphan Prodigy, but it's like super beat up.
Man, that's cool, man. That is cool.
Microsoft sent that to me. That was fun.
Wow, send it like with the
Yeah, with the etching.
man, that's pretty cool. Because in all honesty, too, like with your music, I could see it being in a video game. Like, man, that's
We're trying. We're hopeful. We have a few things in the
Yeah.
works. Can't talk about it, but we'll
hey,
see.
I could. I'll speak it into existence. I see it.
Please do. It'll help me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great one. And this is Mark and Ian. Could I say half or 1/3 of Orphan Prodigy, or just the?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am. It's 1/4, I guess, technically.
Orphan Prodigy. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Oh, your socials, Instagram,
Facebook, X. If you use that, we don't really use it too much. Did I say YouTube? Yeah, YouTube,
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. That's the main.
under Orphan Prodigy.
Orphan Prodigy. Yeah.
Okay, and there we go. So another great episode. Orphan Prodigy and Markivus signing off for Deeper Than Music. Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem. Man, thanks. Yeah, so
Hey,
I went ahead and